Hello, my friends. I'm Bee, and this is Bee's Intuition. And today we're going to do a reading. And so this one's going to be for the collective. And this is going to be what is bringing new hope into your life. What is going to be giving you some new hope, okay? So let's just dive on. So please and thank you, Spirit. What is giving the collective new hope? Please and thank you. What will be giving the collective some new hope? Please and thank you. Okay, that's too many. Just a few. Please and thank you, Spirit. Okay. Okay. So one fell on the ground. Excuse me 1 minute until I retrieve that. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. Alrighty, this is a good one, you guys. So starting out, the Queen of Cups, and then we have the Queen of Wands, and then we have the Star. Okay, so I think that this is you. I think this is all describing you, the collective. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. Bottom of the deck is the Four of Swords. I honestly feel like this could be happening as a result of you taking good care of yourself, meditating, tapping into the divine. You're gonna be hitting a point where you're going to be seeing all of your growth. I'm not even kidding. Like, I literally have goosebumps as I'm saying this right now. I know the camera probably won't pick it up, but like, wow. I'm just gonna go right into it to start clarifying, because this is already a very intense reading, I can tell. So starting out with that Queen of Cups. Please and thank you, Spirit. Can you clarify this Queen of Cups? What is giving you hope to the collective? Please and thank you, Spirit. You've got to be kidding me. Okay. Okay. Nine of Cups. Two of Wands. The Emperor. Okay. Bottom of the deck is the Death card. You have been going through this insane rebirth, renewal, transformation here. And, you know, that's not easy. Transforming yourself, transforming your life, transforming habits even, is such a difficult process. And also the fact that what came out is clarifying the Queen of Cups. Through this process, which is a very difficult process, and not everybody can do it. Instead of letting that process that is so difficult, letting you become hard, letting you become bitter, letting you become anything of those negative attributes, but yet instead of all of that, instead of taking that path, you take the path of the light. You take the path of a loving energy. Like, the Queen of Cups is, in my opinion, like the embodiment of love. Like somebody that is so kind, so giving. Just like somebody that has truly a heart of gold. Like, I just don't know if I'm even getting this point across how I want it to. Like, this is significant. Like, the fact that you go through this huge transformation, something that not everybody can do. And not only that, but you're coming out as your better self. Like, it really feels like you're stepping into your highest self. Like your higher self, your most enlightened self. And I don't know if it's just this process alone that is allowing you to tap into this love and kindness, or if that is simply your personality being magnified. It really does feel like, I just love this energy. Like, you're an incredible person. I just want you to know that. With this 9 of Cups, I feel like you are appreciating yourself. You're appreciating the challenges that you've overcome and the skills that you've gained because of overcoming those challenges. I also feel like you have built up your self-love to a point where it's almost like armor. I don't even know. That's just what's coming to mind. I don't want to overcomplicate these messages by trying to find the meaning to them. But it feels like somehow your self-love process, feeding into yourself, has created this armor. And maybe that armor is a combination of not only you loving yourself, but people around you loving you, your spirit guides loving you, your ancestors loving you, and spirit, the universe, also loving you. You've been making some really big plans for yourself, for your life, for your path, where you want to go. I'm getting a story now. You were once in a place where you were not happy. You were not happy with where you were. You were not happy with who you were. And you realized that something had to change here. You knew that you were meant for more. And maybe this wasn't a message that you've always had within you. This could have been something that you got from spirit. There's something here about you realizing that where you were before was not where you really wanted to be. It's like you realized your untapped potential. And instead of ignoring that part of yourself, instead of just pushing past those feelings of wanting something more, you leaned into it, and you leaned into those qualities of yourself, those qualities in which it really does feel like you embrace those qualities within yourself that you love about yourself. You know, those lighter aspects. I don't see that you are hiding your shadow self at all. I almost even feel like you're using your shadow self somehow in a way to aid your lighter self. It's kind of an interesting thing. It's like you're using it to your own benefit somehow. But all of this planning, all of this self-reflection, it really does feel like a lot of self-reflection that you've been doing. It's leading you to not only becoming this Queen of Cups, who is so loving, giving, kind, and just beautiful, you know? That's the kind of person that you just love being around, because they help you feel loved, they help you feel more loved. And you don't even have to say anything, it's just your energy, just being around you gives people a feeling of being loved, supported, guided even. You may be a guide to a lot of people, especially when it comes to the soul, and navigating through the soul, especially those darker aspects. I feel like you may become a master. Speaking of masters, the Emperor card. So not only are you becoming this beautiful, loving, radiant person, but you're also becoming a master. You're also becoming the Emperor. You're becoming so incredibly powerful. And there's also a confidence with the Emperor. He had to fight to get where he is on this throne, and therefore he does not take it for granted. he knows what his worth is because he has had to show it time and time again to get to this point where he is the emperor now. You are somebody that is a warrior at heart. I don't know if you realize this about yourself or not. I have a feeling you probably do at this point because you've gone through some stuff, clearly, to get where you are. But it's interesting though, because I feel like on the surface you give off very much that Queen of Cups energy. I almost feel like maybe people may be surprised about the power that you contain, because I almost see it as, like, I see, okay, this is such a weird message I'm getting, but I'm going to tell you anyways. I'm getting, in my mind's eye, so the Powerpuff Girls, there's 3 of them, and they all have their own different personalities, and the sweet, kind, sensitive one, her name is Bubbles. So I'm picturing Bubbles from the Powerpuff Girls. You can, if you don't know what the Powerpuff Girls is, you can just picture somebody that's very delicate, sweet, kind, sensitive, maybe cries a lot because they have so much emotions. But that's on the surface. But underneath the surface, you have a personality more so like Buttercup or Blossom. So Blossom is the leader of the group. Not afraid to take control, not afraid to step up to the plate if needed, whereas Buttercup has more of a personality of spice. You know, somebody that is not afraid to tell it like it is, somebody that is not afraid to share what's on their mind, share how they're feeling, and voice their opinion, maybe even semi-forcefully. Not saying that's you necessarily, but what I'm seeing is like that sweet little Bubbles, you know, on the surface. And so people think they know exactly what they're getting themselves into, but they don't. Underneath the surface, I feel like you're more of a Buttercup, to be honest. It's almost like you can be that beautiful little Bubbles on top, where you're just like sweet, kind, sensitive, maybe cries a lot because you're so tapped into your emotions and stuff. But if people push you, you can turn on that Buttercup in an instant, you know? And I don't think people know that about you. At first glance, oh my gosh, this is actually so funny because I feel like you probably experienced this multiple times in your life, where people think they can pull one over on you. People think that they can get by with things. They can get away with doing certain things because you're so sweet, you're so kind, you're so sensitive. You would never judge anybody for mistreating you. You would never speak up for yourself because you're just so kind and empathetic and blah, blah, blah. But they have a rude awakening when they interact with you, because the instant that you feel like your boundaries are not being respected, or that somebody is trying to pull something over on you, the second that, you know, anybody's trying to do something shady to you, that's when you switch. And people don't expect that switch. And when that switch switches, you become the emperor. Somebody that is self-assured. Somebody that is highly respected because they respect themselves. That's a big part of that, you know? The respect that people give the emperor is not just given to him freely. Because I think a lot of the time we think that, you know, that respect comes from the outside in. But I truly don't believe that. I feel like it's, sometimes it can even be almost like love in that way, where it's like you have to build it up within yourself first. You have to respect yourself, you have to value yourself, and then people pick up on that and they act accordingly. So maybe there was a time when maybe you had your heart on your sleeve a little bit more. Maybe you were that like soft little Bubbles in the past, but you've experienced enough and you've grown enough in your life where you're not that little, like, it really is almost like a little girl version of that sort of personality, I guess. So maybe even your inner child, maybe she or he or whoever, they were very much a sensitive soul who didn't like to push people's buttons, who didn't like to stand up for themselves, but you've learned throughout your life, I feel like through multiple lessons as well, situations, people, you've learned your own value, you've learned how to respect yourself, you've learned how to become this powerful person. And I truly believe that you are stepping into this time of like ultimate power, but you don't rule with an iron fist. You're not a cruel leader. You're not a cruel boss. You're very kind. And I feel like that's why people like you. Like, you have this power of the emperor, but you have the facade. You have the facade, and I don't even know if facade is necessarily the correct word that I want to use here, but for lack of a better term. I'm not trying to say it's fake. It's more so just like on the surface. You're so sweet, so bubbly, so kind, whatever. And I don't know, it's just something about the way that you are that is so beautiful, interesting, complex, because it's like you have the power to back it up, but you go about things in such a kind, empathetic way. You don't lead by striking people with fear. You know, you're not somebody that's like threatening people to get them to do what you want. You're more so like, hey, let me get on your level. Let me show you that I know what it's like to be here, and let's do this, you know? That's how you lead. You have this kindness and authenticity and empathy that is so remarkable. And it's so unique to you specifically. And I feel like you should lean into, and I think this is exactly what you're doing, to be honest, is you're leaning into the complexities of your personality. Maybe you felt in the past that you couldn't be this complex, multifaceted being, but you're realizing how you can use it for not only your own betterment, for the betterment of those around you. You have a better way of doing things, and it's progressive and inventive. I truly believe. I feel like you have a way of doing things that most people don't know exists. And so you're here to show people that it does exist. There is a better way to do these things, you know? But especially with that death card at the bottom of the deck, I feel like you've just been really leaning into this transformation energy. It's almost like I feel this sense of like you've just been letting the transformation take you. You haven't been trying to get too stuck up in your head about it or overthink things. You're just, it's very much like a flowing, smooth process here. Very beautiful. Okay, let's go on to that Queen of Wands now. Please and thank you. What can you tell me about that Queen of Wands? For what is coming towards the collective that will give them hope. Please and thank you. Okay. Oh my gosh, this one is a crazy reading. I knew it. I knew it. You guys heard me at the beginning. Okay. Okay. So clarifying that Queen of Wands, starting out with the Lover's card. So you've been making really good choices for yourself. And it's interesting that that should come out first, because then it's followed by the Two of Swords. I feel like you've been making really divinely enlightened choices for yourself. And I think that part of you knows that what you're doing is divinely guided, or that it's divinely meant for you, or it's on your enlightened path, you know, like it's meant for you. But that's happening on like the spiritual 5D plane, right? But the reality, the three-dimensional physical self with the ego, it sneaks in there. And no shame about it, because it happens to all of us. We would like to think that we could be confident all the time and make decisions with no problem and never overthink, never question, oh, did I do the right thing? But it's natural. It's part of the human experience to have these complex feelings, to experience more than one feeling at once. And so I feel like at the same time that you're making these more enlightened choices for yourself, you can't help but question, is this really right? And I feel like a big part of this questioning is probably mostly because you don't see the 3D results of something. Even though you've been doing these, and I think a lot of these choices that you've been making, some of them are probably very hard. I think a lot of the time, you know, like when we have choices that we have to make and they're more difficult, sometimes the choice that we actually have to choose and we feel like that's what's best for us is not always what's easiest. And so you could definitely be getting into your head with that Two of Swords energy where you're like, I'll make this choice because I have a feeling it's what's right for me and what's right for my future and whatever, but you know, at the end of the day, when you're in bed, thinking about the choices that you've made, you're like, did I actually make that right decision though? And the beautiful thing about this Two of Swords energy is that the only way for her to make the correct decision here is for her to trust her intuition. And so, I think you know that your intuition is guiding you down the right path, but it's almost like maybe you get confused. What is your intuition? What is fear? What is your intuition? What is anxiety? You know, what is overthinking? What is the ego, you know? And so I almost feel like you may not know exactly what is your intuition and what is your ego and what is your anxiety, what is your fear talking. I feel like almost until you have the 3D results, that will be when you have that true, real confirmation, I guess, of your intuition being correct. And so it's really a lot about trusting in the process, because it's going to be, divine timing takes its time, you know that. Divine timing takes its time, as you well know by this point in your journey, I'm sure. You know, if we rush divine timing, then it wouldn't be divine timing, am I right? So until that point comes, you have to trust. And trust is one of those things that is very, very difficult to do, especially when you've had plenty of examples in your life of trusting something that turned out not to be worth trusting. And usually it comes to other people specifically, well, especially I should say. But it feels like it's really about trusting in this period of time before you see that 3D validation or that 3D reward or outcome that you're expecting, that payoff. And then the other two cards that came out for the Queen of Wands, we have the Judgment card and the Seven of Pentacles. I actually really, really like that. I really do, actually. So for one, I think you're going to be coming into a time when you have the real evidence that your intuition was correct and that these choices that you've been making for yourself are truly on your enlightened higher path. I feel like you're going to be receiving at least a sign. So if it's not explicitly those outcomes that you were expecting, I have a feeling it's going to be a sign that will make it very obvious that it's on its way. Because I you know, the angel in this card with its little trumpet there, it always speaks to me about some sort of message that you can't ignore. Like you look at the card and all of these people are looking up at that angel. The angel is blowing their little trumpet. Like, you cannot ignore that. So it's going to either be some sort of significant sign that helps you realize that this is really on its way, or it could be the actual outcome that you've been waiting for. And because this is the Judgment card, I feel like you're going to be going into the next phase very positively. Like, you're going into a next phase of your life, and when you enter into that phase, it's going to be in a very positive way. I honestly feel like this card right here is telling me that you're going to be receiving exactly what you want when it comes to the next phase of your life. Whatever you're expecting for yourself, whatever you're trying to build here, I feel like you're going to receive that payoff. And there's something about, like, you having a pure heart or pure intentions. Maybe you've done something with pure intentions. Or maybe there's like a quality about you that is very pure and not selfish. And I feel like that could be why this is paying off for you. It feels almost like a sense of being appreciated by the divine, or simply acknowledged by the divine in some way. I feel like the divine is playing a heavy part in this, though, because with that Lovers card and the Judgment card coming out to clarify that Queen of Wands, it is telling me that the divine is right there with you. Throughout this whole process, they are right there with you. So if you feel alone through this, which you may feel alone, especially in those moments when you're questioning things, the divine is right there with you. So whether you have a spiritual team, spirit guides, ancestors, whoever it is that you believe in being near you and in your energy, they are there to support you every step of the way. And I feel like there's a lot of pride that they feel for the work that you've been putting into yourself. And then that Seven of Pentacles I really like, because what have I been saying about this? Trust, right? Trusting the process. That's going to be such a huge part of this process, and that's really what the Seven of Pentacles is really saying, is like, trust in the process, have patience. It's not going to be easy, but the payoff will be worth it, because you're not rushing things. When we rush things, they are usually not, think about it like a car, If I rushed making a car, I had all the pieces to make up a car, but maybe I only have a half hour to assemble it. Is that car gonna be good? Is that car gonna work? Is that car gonna stay together for very long? Probably not, right? And you probably don't want to drive that car, right? Yeah, you probably wouldn't want to drive that car, right? So, and that's really what divine timing is all about. It's like divine timing is working behind the scenes to make sure that everything is exactly as it should be, is exactly structurally sound, is exactly, it's like, yeah, you could have a car that was made within a half hour, but is it really what you want? Because technically you asked for a car, right? But do you want that one, or do you want the car that was actually well made, had plenty of time put into it, all the features are together exactly as they should, everything's working properly, we had those, safety inspections a few times, so we're good to go, right? And so it's like, trust that whatever it is that you want right now, whatever it is that you crave or desire to see in your life, it's coming to you, but in the exact amount of time that it needs to come to you. And also, that's another thing about divine timing, is like, when divine timing does happen, or maybe this is just with me personally, I've noticed that when divine timing is at play, things glide. They are so much smoother. And there's very little, if any, bumps in the road. There's not friction, when it comes to divine timing. And in fact, personally, when I feel the most friction, when I feel the most difficulty about a situation, it's usually because I'm growing impatient and I want those results done now. I want that 3D validation now. And then it's like, okay, but why is this feeling so hard to achieve? Why is this feeling so rough? Why is this not feeling quite right? It's because I'm letting my ego take over. I'm letting my ego run the show and tell me when things should come to me, instead of trusting the universe for them giving me something in the correct timing. Instead, I'm gonna be like, you know what? No, I want it now. I want that car that was made in a half hour. I don't care if it's safe. I don't care if it's properly made. I don't care if it hasn't had any safety inspections. I'm gonna drive it. And then you have that little RIP little screen, in memory of at the end of the video, But yeah, so pretty much it won't go good if you try to force things before it's divine timing. And I think that's honestly why divine timing takes so long, is because we're trying, as if I'm part of the universe. I mean, I guess we technically are, right? But it seems like, to me, the reason why divine timing takes so long is because not only are we, or I don't know why I keep saying we, not only is the universe trying to figure out, like, what it is that you need, want, whatever, and, making sure that's ready for you, but also making sure that it glides easily for you, that you can go into that time of your life, go into that blessing, go into whatever it is that you want smoothly, and not forcing it to happen, not working against the grain, but rather just flowing into it. And maybe this is what you're realizing. This could be exactly what is helping you unlock this power that is the Queen of Wands, that this is all clarifying, is you're realizing the importance of trusting your intuition, making those divine choices, those higher, more enlightened choices for yourself, trusting the divine even if it's hard, and trusting in that process and practicing patience. Patience is not a quality. You're not born with patience. You have to practice patience each and every day. With every little example or life circumstance that pops up for you, every little thing that bothers you is another opportunity to practice patience. Because as humans in this 3D world where everything is like, it needs to happen right now or it's not worth it, that's the ego. The ego really has us in a chokehold, and it's really hard to shake that feeling of like, I need things now, why aren't they happening now? But I feel like you're leaning into this where you're realizing, maybe you're realizing even how much your ego played a part in you second guessing yourself, in terms of you trusting the divine, trusting your intuition. And it's like through you realizing the need for trust, the need for patience, I feel like that's what's unlocking your inner power. Because there's such a fieriness with that Queen of Wands. Another, I do believe that the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Wands are actually quite similar. They don't seem like it, they don't sound like they would be, because one represents water, one represents fire, but they are both very much in the heart space. And so one of them is the more sensitive part of the heart space, whereas one of them is the more fiery part of the heart space. And you're just rocking that. Like, the fact that you are being represented by not only the Queen of Cups, but the Queen of Wands, you're rocking the heart space. Like, you have probably one of the biggest hearts. I'm sure probably your friends tell you that, your family tells you that. Maybe sometimes it leads you down a dark path where you make some mistakes because you have such a big heart and you're so forgiving. But you're growing and you're evolving at the same time. Like, you're not going to be that pushover forever, or if that was you, that's not you anymore. And I honestly think that a little bit of this Queen of Wands is probably giving you that little bit of spice, you know, to your personality. That allows you to stand up for yourself. That allows you to know your worth, value, etc. And you're just becoming so incredibly powerful through learning these lessons. Mwah. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, and then at the bottom of the deck, the World card. So I think I was just talking about like going into the next phase of your life, right? I think with that Judgment card I was. And the World card is all about closing out those old cycles, opening new cycles, and this is all on your inland path. This is all with an upward trajectory, right? You are so tapped into the divine, and I don't even know if you're aware of this, to be honest, because you could be second guessing yourself when you make these choices or whatever. You're just like so freaking tapped in. I almost even feel like people could see this about you very much, that you it's honestly, it's giving Earth Angel vibes, and especially with the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Wands, I can see it. I can see it. This Earth Angel vibes where you're just leading with your heart. You're doing things with a pure heart, pure intentions. You genuinely want other people to do good because you, like, it's like when you want yourself to do good, you want others to do good as well. And so it's almost like just by you working on yourself, you're helping others work on themselves as well. And it's just like, yeah, again, this pure intention, pure heart. Like, you just go about things not because you have some sort of hidden agenda or not because you want something for you. It's almost like you genuinely just want to do good. You genuinely just want to affect people in a positive way. It's almost like you see the potential that this world has, and you want everybody in this world to know what their potential is and to feed that potential and to lean into that potential. Like, I truly believe that there is something about you that is very much like a leader, especially when it comes to your spirituality and your spiritual path and your path in life. Honestly, I feel like you're definitely one of those people that leads by example. Oh, I love that. Okay, let's go on to that star card, please. Thank you, Spirit. What can you tell me about this star card? What is going to be giving the collective some new hope, please and thank you. What's going to be giving them some hope, eh? Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, so clarifying the star card. First off, King of Wands. No big deal, just your divine match, whatever. Well, somebody is clearly admiring you, and they could be a very good match to you. Knight of Pentacles. This could be somebody that's kind of shy, somebody that's a little bit slow moving. The Hierophant. Yeah, so they have some pretty serious intentions when it comes to you. That's probably why they're going slow, is because they see a big commitment with you. They could see you as their future partner, their partner in life, their partner in crime. Like, literally, life partner is the message I'm getting with that. The Strength card. I mean, obviously, I do think that this could be you, but I'm thinking that this person probably needs to be courageous when it comes to this. Especially if they've been moving slow, maybe they're realizing, like, hey, wait, slow and steady may not win the race. The Moon card. This could be something that you have no idea about, for sure, because it feels like this is something that you may not see. Okay, now I'm starting to get that this is all clarifying the star card, and although I do think that the Star card is you, it's also kind of telling me about something that's written in the stars, something that's fated, something that's meant to be. This connection could be very well meant to be. The last card that came out is the Seven of Swords. I find it very interesting that the Seven of Swords came out after the Moon card. Because if it were the Seven of Swords and then the Moon, I would read it as this is something you don't see. But since it came out after the Moon, I feel like this is what you see, but something is hiding behind the Moon that you don't see, and I think it's all of this. With that King of Wands here, and the preparation that they're doing behind the scenes, I think that's what you don't see. I think this is what you do see. And I find that incredibly interesting. Because this person here seems like they could be a very good match to you. I feel like you both have some sort of fieriness or passion in your life that could be driving the both of you. Could be something that you have in common, could bond over even. I'm also getting a very hard-working energy from both people. So that could also be a thing that you bond over. But I think, on the surface, you think this person is up to no good. Like, literally, that's the message I'm getting. It's like, this person sees you, and I think really admires you. I do think that they see you as the star here, somebody that could be in the spotlight. It doesn't have to be literally a real spotlight. It could just be like, maybe you're very well known in the profession that you have. Maybe you're known for being a very good person in your community. It could be anything like that, you know, just somebody that is seen and appreciated for their values or their qualities, you know, their specific skills and stuff. And so I think that they are very impressed with you. I honestly feel like with that Knight of Pentacles, they could be a little bit scared of you. And honestly, I think that's probably just because of your energy. I think you just have a very big personality or big energy behind you, and I think that could be intimidating, but it's not deterring this person. You know, it's funny because it's like, yeah, I may be intimidated, but I'm still gonna go for it. I just might take a little bit of time because I'm kind of nervous. That kind of is the energy I'm getting with that Knight of Pentacles. But it's like, okay, I see a future with this person, so obviously I'm not going to turn around and go the opposite direction of this person. I'm going to go towards this person because I see a future with them. But I need to be brave. I need to embody this Strength card. I need to overcome those thoughts of doubt, those internal demons that are going to try and hold me back. But it's almost like what's working against them is the fact that you have no idea that this is going on right now. But because it is the Moon card, I'm starting to think that you actually could feel this in your intuition, but you doubt it. It's like the fear creeps in and you start to think, wait, what if this is not actually happening behind the scenes and I'm just crazy and delusional? And so it's like, maybe this is all going on behind the scenes and you're kind of like questioning that because you don't have the proof that this is going on behind the scenes. So your intuition is telling you that it's going on behind the scenes, but your ego may be coming in and being like, well, you don't have proof, so how do you know that's what's happening? And so you're like, oh geez, I don't know, maybe I'm just making it up. And yeah, so your fears get in and then you start to question everything. And I think this card is interesting. How it's hitting me right now, it feels ego-based. And I think maybe part of it is because your intuition is telling you that this good stuff is happening behind the scenes, but maybe it's what you hope. Because this is the King of Wands. You are showing up as not only the Queen of Cups, but the Queen of Wands. So a very good match here. Yeah, I think you like this person and they like you, but they're doing stuff behind the scenes, so your brain is just on loop and probably overthinking and all that stuff. And I almost feel like you kind of want to believe that this is your person. Hear me out. I know that's gonna sound like BS. That's gonna sound like, why would I want to believe that they're a bad person? But think about it. If this is like a divine match for you, that's gonna be scary. Especially if you have not experienced this sort of connection, a very intense connection like this, something that feels divinely guided. That's really intimidating stuff. Also, you don't have any 3D proof that this person is who you've made them out to be in your mind. And so, it's very easy to read between the lines, to fill in the blanks, and maybe I'm literally getting in my mind like an ad lib, you know, like those yeah, so an ad lib is what I was getting in my mind's eye. And that's just like those, I don't even know if they make them anymore. It's just like a little fun little activity that kids do where it's like, it's a story, but like every other word is like a blank that you put in a word to make it funny. But I feel like you're using those blank spots to put in something that's not so great. Because I think your ego really wants you to not like this person and to not trust this person. Because it's easier. Like, I feel like you would rather have this person be a villain in your mind because it's so much easier to just write off that person and ignore this and ignore those feelings and ignore that intuition and just simply be based in the ego where you're safe, where you're protected, where you don't have to be vulnerable, where you don't have to accept that this could be a divine connection of some sort that is actually meant to go somewhere. I really do. I really do believe that this is you trying to, and it's like, I think it's almost like I'm literally, I feel like you could be in this place where you're almost like observing this person, and every little thing they do, you're like, that's a red flag, that's a red flag, that's a red flag. But I think part of you knows that you're kind of BSing yourself. I feel like this is really you just kind of like trying to self-sabotage this in a way. I don't think you're consciously sabotaging it. I don't think that's a conscious thing. But very much on the subconscious, you would just rather this person be a bad person so that you could just push them out of your life and go on to something that's not as deep, not as vulnerable, or doesn't make you feel as vulnerable. Like, it definitely feels like you just would rather have them be a bad person so you could just write them out of your life and not have to deal with these feelings and complexities to the situation. But I think you're going to be quickly seeing that this is not the case. I don't know why this is coming through, but you might even try to say that this person is a player. Like, they play games, they play with people's feelings. That they're a flirt, maybe? Actually, that could make sense, especially because this person is the King of Wands. The King of Wands is a passionate, fiery person. Especially with that. Well, if it was the Knight of Wands, that would make a little bit more sense because that's more of like a flirty, not super stable energy. So actually, I feel like this person's more stable than you may want to believe. If they showed up as the Knight of Wands, I'd be like, okay, you might have a point, but this person's showing up as the King of Wands. This is somebody who means business. This is somebody that is not gonna just fool around, come in and flirt, and then be like, bye, never see you again. Or come in and do a little hookup, and then, bye, I'm never gonna see you again. This is somebody that is serious, and I feel like somebody that seriously wants a serious partner. I feel like this person sees you as an equal as well. This is not somebody who thinks that they are higher than you. This is not somebody who is condescending or, yeah, they definitely do not feel like they're above you in any way. In some ways, they could feel like they're a little bit below you. Not necessarily entirely, because they do have their confidence because they are being represented by that King of Wands. So they are confident in themselves and in what they do. I think they're incredibly attracted to you, but it's something that has roots. It's not superficial. It's definitely not superficial. They see your value. It feels very much highlighted. The fact that this person sees your value. Literally, it feels like they truly see you as somebody that they could have a whole life with. Somebody that they could build a life with. They just want a life partner, and I feel like they truly think that you are the right one for them. And another reason why I have a feeling that this Seven of Swords is not truly what this person is like, but rather what you want to believe that they are. Six of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. This person clearly wants to give to this. I also think that, yeah, like, I think that this person is kind, is giving, and with that scale being balanced here, I think that this is a quite balanced person. Very rational is what I'm getting. Although, like, they are... Yeah, because, like, I usually use that word rational when I'm describing, like, the King of Swords or something, but I wouldn't say, like, that far rational, where it's, like, only based in the rational, but this is a rational person. This is somebody that is very, level-headed, is what I'm getting. They know what to give their energy to and what to not give their energy to. So, honestly, I feel like this person could be quite... honestly, the opposite of what you think that they are, or what you would like to believe that they are. Like, and if you do see this person talking with other people, or what you believe to be flirting with other people, honestly, I think it's genuine. I don't think that it's, it definitely doesn't feel like there's some sort of hidden agenda. It doesn't feel like... this person might just be a nice person. And maybe you misread that as being flirty. I think they're incredibly giving as well. Yeah. I think that they're just incredibly giving and friendly, and so you might perceive that as them being a little bit of a player. Or they are charismatic with that King of Wands, so they could have a charismatic energy, which could also be perceived as, you know, like, you know, usually a player is somebody that is very charismatic, right? I think you're used to... I truly think that you're probably used to people being charismatic, but with, like, secret intentions and, you know, trying to use it to manipulate people rather than just being genuinely charismatic and not having a hidden agenda of any sort. That's what I truly believe. I truly believe that this person is way better than you want to believe. And honestly, I think eventually you're going to realize this about them, where it's like, oh, crap, you're actually a really good person. Because I feel like you're going to kind of want this person to not be a good person. You're going to kind of want this person to be like a... yeah, because it's just so much easier to write that person off and then not have to worry about those feelings, right? Especially if this person's making you feel those deep feelings, you're like, I don't want to feel these feelings. That's inconvenient. I'd rather just believe that they're, you know, a dusty, and I can just throw them away, you know, not have to think about them ever again. But eventually, this work that they've been doing behind the scenes is going to come to light, and you're going to realize that this person is a good person. Also, they could be doing charity work of some sort, is what I'm getting. Because it feels like they're a charitable person. Or maybe what they do for work is like charitable or serve some greater purpose. Because it feels like this is a community-based person. They have a good heart too. They do. So you guys might actually be a really good match. I hate to say it, because I don't think you want to hear it. But I think you guys might be a good match here. Just saying. Anyways, so that's the reading I got for you guys. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope that you enjoyed and that it resonated for you. If it resonated, feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you subscribe, you can become a part of the Hive Collective. Because my name is Bee. Bees live in hives. And you could become an honorary bee like me. And we could be a little bee family together. So thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you. Oh, and if you like my readings and you'd like to see more, be sure to click that bell icon down below so that YouTube actually notifies you next time I upload. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye!